In this lesson, we link three related hardware topics: printers used at home, school, and work, point of sale or POS devices, systems used in shops, and barcodes and RFID tags used for identification and tracking. We'll focus on how each device works, where it is used, and typical exam questions, especially in integrated scenarios. And if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe. An inkjet printer sprays tiny droplets of liquid ink onto the paper to form characters and images. Typical uses include home and small office printing, especially color documents and photos. Advantages include that it's cheaper to buy than a laser printer and it gives good color and photo quality. Disadvantages is that the ink cartridges can be expensive per page because they need frequent replacement. It is slower than many laser printers for long documents, and ink can smudge or dry out if not used for a long time. A laser printer uses a laser and a drum to transfer dry toner powder onto paper and then uses heat to fix it permanently. Typical uses are offices, schools, and any environment with high volume printing. Advantages is fast printing, especially for text and long documents. Sharp, professional looking text, and there's also a lower cost per page for large volumes because toner lasts longer and does not dry out. Disadvantages includes that they are more expensive to buy than many inkjets and that toner cartridges are expensive and costly, although they print many more pages. Color laser printers are more expensive than mono and not always the best for top-end photo printing. An all-in-one printer or multifunction device combines several functions in one unit, usually print, scan, and copy, and some models also include fax, making them 4-in-1 printers. The advantages is that they save space compared to separate printers, scanners, and copier devices, and one device has many options. It is also less clutter and cables. Disadvantages include, unfortunately, you lose all the devices if one of them breaks down, and the heavy use of one function, such as copying, can wear out the whole device faster. A 3D printer builds physical objects layer by layer from materials such as plastic, filament, or resin. The uses include prototyping and product design, models in engineering, architecture and medicine, and educational products or custom parts. Advantages is that you can create custom prototypes or parts directly from digital designs, and it supports creative and practical learning. It's also cheaper than conventional manufacturing. The disadvantages is that the materials and the printer itself can be expensive and that the material fumes might be toxic. Printing is unfortunately relatively slow and it may take hours for one model. The model size is also limited to the printer size and unfortunately you can only print one object at a time. Now, there are some specs that we need to look at when choosing a printer. The first is speed. The speed of a printer is measured in pages per minute or ppm. The higher the speed, the faster the printing. Next is budget. The cost of a printer or the printing costs also needs to be considered. The inkjet is less expensive to buy, but the cost per page is so much higher. Print quality, or the quality of the printouts, is measured in dpi or dots per inch. The best photo quality would be inkjet. Paper. The size of the paper or the thickness that a printer can take is also one of the specs that you need to look at when deciding on a printer. So, the printer specs would continue. First off, The size of a printer also plays a role because some printers are huge and some are smaller, so the available physical space or the number of trays will definitely be a choice. Next is color. You get monochrome or color printing, and you have to decide which one you need to choose. The laser printer, which is used often in schools, only prints in black. No color is needed. The type of printer is also a deciding factor. For example, what is suitable for SOHO might be a multifunction printer. The connectivity, how it connects to the network, can you use USB or does it connect to Wi-Fi? You need to know these 8 specs, and you also need to know the unit in which some of them are measured. Sometimes it's asked which printer you would select because of certain options, or what is the specs that you have to look at when choosing a printer. Some definitions. The first one is the duty cycle of a printer, and this refers to the number of printouts per month without the printer getting damaged or is failing. The default printer is the printer that the operating system automatically selects for printing. When sending a print job, you can also select a different printer or change the default printer. Printer queue is when a printer is printing more than one document. It is placed in a queue. And spooling goes with printer queue. This is the process where data is temporarily held to be used. FIFO does apply, which means first in, first out, but it can be paused, cancelled, or prioritized. So this example is simply to explain the two concepts. Employee A sends a 50-page document and employee B sends a 2-page document right after. Both documents will be spooled and queued. Now, spooling means that the documents are copied from applications into a special area on the disk or memory called the print spool. Both employee A and B's jobs are therefore stored or spooled, so they don't have to wait for the printer to finish before they carry on working. Queuing simply refers to once they are spooled, the jobs are placed in a print queue. Employee A's job is added first and B second, which is the order in which they will print. So, we've looked at printers we used in homes, schools, and offices. In shops, you will also see printers, but they are part of a complete point of sale or POS system at the checkout that includes scanners, card readers, and a touchscreen. Next, we look at the hardware in a POS system and how barcodes and RFID tags help to identify and track products. Key POS hardware includes a touchscreen terminal, which is both an input and output device. It displays items and menus, and the cashier taps options on the screen instead of using a mouse and a keyboard. The barcode scanner quickly captures product barcodes so that the system can look up prices and update stock, reducing manual typing and errors. Card and NFC or contactless readers process electronic payments from bank cards or phones. Receipts are printed and they provide customers with proof of purchase and transaction details. The cash drawer safely store cash and are electronically controlled by the POS system to open only when needed. So, what are the advantages? Automating the checkout process with POS hardware has several benefits compared to manual entry. Barcode scanners and touchscreens make checkout faster, especially when there are many items. Scanning barcodes and using fixed prices reduces typing mistakes and incorrect totals, improving accuracy. Each scan can automatically update stock levels and store sales data for reports, making it easier to manage the inventory. Disadvantages and considerations include the cost of the POS hardware and software and the need for maintenance. POS system always depend on electricity and usually a local area network or LAN in the shop. If the power or network goes down, sales may be slowed or stopped. The POS terminal has internal storage, such as a small SSD for the operating system, POS software, and the recent transaction data. This also ensures that customer data needs to be kept private. Small shops may store all sales and stock data on a single local computer or server, while larger businesses often sync POS data to a central or cloud database with much more storage and better backups. In a typical shop, the POS terminal, receipt printer, and other devices form part of a local area network or LAN because there are several devices connected in a small area such as a shop or building. A PAN or personal area network is much smaller and usually connects devices around one person, such as a phone and smartwatch using Bluetooth. A card machine or payment terminal can connect to the network in several ways, for example via wired internet, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, to a phone or a mobile network such as 4G, which will make this a WAN or a wide area network. A barcode you must have seen before. It's a pattern of lines that represent a numeric or alphanumeric code. And how the scanner works is that it shines light which reads the code. The POS system uses the code to look up the price of the product or description in the database and to update stock levels. The usual question that is asked is, how does the scanner work? And the answer will be that it works with light. Okay, ever walked out of a shop and the alarm goes off? This would be the work of the radio frequency identification or RFID identification. This contains a small chip and an antenna and readers that uses radio waves to read the tags, often without direct line of sight. RFID readers can scan tags from a distance and sometimes several tags at once, depending on the system. They can be used in tracking or identification, such as marathons or animals, tap and go or contactless payments, e-toll systems for vehicles passing through, stock and inventory control, security gate access, and to prevent theft and misplacement of goods. So, we're just going to look at the disadvantages of barcodes and RFIDs, then we're done. So the first one is physical issues. The barcode itself might be damaged or the faulty scanner can be a problem. The barcodes can also be lost. Technical limitations include that you need a direct line of sight and only one item can be scanned at a time. Security issues can be that they can be cloned, so a different barcode could be placed on another piece that needs to be sold. And there's also connectivity issues, where the scanner might not fully connect or is dirty. Okay, the disadvantages to RFID tags include cost. They are more expensive to manufacture. And the interference, other materials, such as the material around the tag or the metals, can interfere with the signal. Privacy could also be an issue because they could track people without their permission. And security, the tags could be lost, stolen, or cloned. Almost time for the summary. So, time for the summary. Please remember that it's best to do this from memory without looking at your notes, and that this should help you to prepare just before the exams. So in this lesson, we saw that different printers, including inkjet, laser, all-in-one, and 3D, are chosen based on cost, speed, and the type of output we need. POS, or point of sale system, use a touchscreen, barcode scanner, card reader, receipt printer, and cash drawer to automate sales, reduce errors, and keep stock records up to date. Barcodes are cheap and widely used, but must be visible and scanned one by one. RFID tags use radio waves to scan many items without line of sight and can store more data, but they are more expensive and can create privacy and security concerns. Make sure you can explain when you would use each technology in an exam scenario. At this point, you should be comfortable with different printer types, how POS systems work at a checkout, and how barcodes and RFID help us track products. In the next lesson, we'll shift to what the technology does, so how it affects us and the environment. We'll look at ergonomics, how to use computers in a healthy way, and green computing, where we focused on saving energy, reducing e-waste, and using technology more sustainably. That way, you're not only ready for the exam questions, but also for using these devices responsibly in real life. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you've enjoyed the video, please like or comment or share. Thank you. Bye.